evening, brothers, sisters, and gender norm resistors. It's time for some more Star Trek Judgment Rites with me, your host, Ollamh. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, the music is actually playing. Yes, okay, there is background music. It's just, yeah, it's just really, really slow start. That's good. All right. So yes, we're back in it. We are going on with No Man's Land, which is mission number 3 of 8. So by the end of tonight, we should be halfway through the game already, which is awesome. Now, last time we kind of got in, we did the first 2 missions. The first one was kind of like a holdover from 25th anniversary, where it was, the person we thought was dead wasn't dead. He was like going all full. He was he was going full. I suppose you would call it going full space Hitler. Basically, you know, he was part of the Vardane who were already into genetic manipulation, genetic engineering. Which kind of got him in trouble, with his own government and the Federation. But since then, he had taken over and was just kind of like, you know what, screw the Federation. We're just going to do whatever the hell we want. I don't care. Not a great look. Not a great thing. But, they kind of seemed to be going towards big, beefy guys with blonde hair and light pigmentation to the skin. That was what one of his guards was like, specifically, like, had a specific genetic engineering for, real bad. And he was looking to, create a Holocaust on Earth by blowing it up. So, yeah. Not a big fan. Sorry, there's a little something on the mirror there. There we go. That's better. And then we got into mission 2, which was this undeveloped planet, where everything seemed to be aggressive. They were in the Stone Age. Everything seemed to be very aggressive. They had progressed to the Stone Age faster than expected. And we found some machines and stuff in the, underground in the planet that was like, they were pumping out this gas that made everybody super aggressive. Even our Vulcan Spock was just kind of like, you know, getting a little bit tetchy, which is problematic at best. But we decided, you know, and we were given an option of, hey, do you want this data of how to create a full-on 3D hologram, or do you, or not? If we took the information to create the hologram, which Federation doesn't have yet, it would have released the gas onto the planet, and just like this species would have always been hyper aggressive. The alternative is to turn off the gas and lose the data. Well, we chose to turn off the gas and just lose the data because, hey, you don't need that. And that brings us up to mission number 3. So we're gonna go. I do have the intro set up, so we'll replay the intro and go from there. So let me just make sure everything's set up here, and we'll go ahead and hop on over and see what this one has for us.
Captain's log, stardate 6236.5. Following our mission to Balkos, the Enterprise is proceeding to Omega Corvus to probe radiation clouds. We are expecting an uneventful mission.
Message from Starfleet Command.
On screen.
This is a Code 2 emergency, Captain. 3 Federation ships have vanished in the Delphi system within the last month. 3 days ago, we lost contact with the USS Zimbabwe. You are to go to the Delphi system and find out what's happened to our ships. Starfleet out.
All right, there we go. And that's just it. So now we're into this one, and we've got some stuff to look up. So, Omega Corvus.
Omega Corvus, a Federation system located near the galactic barrier. The
Yeah,
Omega
that's close to
Corvus
where we
system
were.
contains a small colony of several hundred scientists who studied the galactic barrier and some of its more mysterious phenomena.
Yeah, so that's kind of... Isn't that where we started? Okay, so we also have Delphi.
Delphi system, a ternary star system first charted 30 years ago by the USS Essex. With no habitable planets in the system, the Gamma Delphi sector is known for a high abundance of ion storms.
Uh-huh. Oh, God.
USS Zimbabwe. Constitution-class starship commissioned stardate 5621.3, currently under the command of Captain Ulysses Monteya. The Zimbabwe's current non-classified missions include ferrying diplomats between Babel and Vulcan and searching for missing ships in the Delphi sector.
Right, so Monteya?
Ulysses Monteya, Starfleet rank Captain. Current assignment, command of the USS Zimbabwe. Graduated 5th in his academy class, Captain Monteya served as ensign and later lieutenant aboard the USS Jersey, as lieutenant commander aboard the USS Senurix, and as first officer and later commander of the USS Regulus. Captain Monteya has been decorated 9 times by Starfleet for various feats of bravery and valor.
All right, so I think that's all we've got.
The Delphi system is not far from Romulan space.
Let's not make any accusations without proof, Mr. Spock.
I make no accusations, Captain. I am simply pointing out relevant information based on the most logical hypothesis available. I would not recommend drawing a definite conclusion from it.
Right, thanks. Okay, so we need to... All right, so hang on. We want to
Raising
do
shields.
shields
Arming weapons.
and weapons, and now we'll go... Delphi is number 2, so it's like... Yeah, we're definitely like right out here in this. So yeah, Omega Corvus is over here. Where was it that we first went to? Trying to remember where that was. I know we had Symphony Ellipsis. No. Valkos is where we were last time, which was over here. Oh, it's like right up here in the center, wasn't it? It was number 12 was, yeah, the Epsos system. So I'm guessing this entire area must be where the galactic barrier is. But okay, yes, we are supposed to be going to this little blue boy right here.
Captain, at our current speed of warp 7, I expect to enter the Delphi system in 8 minutes.
Captain, I just started getting the oddest noise on all channels. It sounds like some sort of insect drone.
Let's hear it, Lieutenant. What the...
An object is approaching the Enterprise.
Right, that doesn't sound so much like insects as... Yeah, prop plane.
Mr. Spock, is that what I think it is?
You mean besides annoyingly loud?
Sensors indicate that it is an authentic Earth warplane, circa 1917, belonging to the nation of Germany. Its appearance is identical to a Fokker DR-1. Sensors also indicate an immense power source and one life form.
Well, that doesn't seem likely.
We are being hailed.
How?
This is Baron Trelane von Gothis of the German Air Circus. I have identified you as an enemy aircraft. You have 10 seconds to surrender before I blow you out of the sky.
Right.
Trelane, but I thought we'd seen the last of you. Stop playing games, Trelane. Leave my ship alone. We surrender. Trelane, triplanes didn't have radios during the First World War.
That is true.
Captain Kirk, that is not the way for mortal enemies to greet each other on the field of battle. Of course you hadn't seen the last of me. I am Trelane, the humble Baron of Gothas.
Right, so you're trying to be the Red Baron.
Humility is not something that I would associate with you, Trelane. I suppose we're going to get another tantrum from a runaway child with too much power for his own good. Mortal enemies? When are you going to grow up, Trelane?
Not for several millennia, I'm afraid. Of course, the Baron von Gothas does not have to aspire to such lofty heights to defeat his latest victim.
Right.
You were responsible for what happened to the Zimbabwe?
Was that one of the valiant pilots who is now confined in my dungeon?
I guess.
Perhaps you wish to join him.
Not particularly, no.
Sensors indicate he is closing on us. I would extrapolate that he intends to fire on us.
Raise shields, evasive...
Raising shields.
All right, hang on. I need to... kill that music, because dear gods, that is just annoying.
Target analysis.
Alright, so he is not doing so good. Come on, what? That must have been one hell of a tight corner he turned. Good gosh. I mean, he is a god. He has, like, godlike powers, so... We're probably not gonna be... You know, we probably shouldn't be able to damage him too much. Oh, come on. I mean, I'm not entirely sure how you're flying something like that in fucking space. go.
Got it.
Good, finally.
Don't celebrate too soon, Mr. Chekhov. Trelane is like a bad penny. He keeps turning up where he's not wanted.
I mean, I thought the saying was that a bad penny always turns up.
The triplane has reformed.
Hey, now that's cheating.
It is hailing us again, sir.
Kirk, you cheated! You cheated!
No, I'm just better. I mean, come on.
I beat you fair and square, Trelane. Now leave my ship alone. Don't be such a poor loser, Trelane. Your quarrel is with me, Trelane, not my ship. If you're going to punish anyone, punish me. I beat you fair and square, Trelane. Now leave my ship.
No, Kirk, you cheated. And you're going to have to be punished. Your insolent ship will have to be punished as well. But only you will bear the full brunt of my revenge.
Leave my ship out of this, Trelane.
Are you trying to give orders to the Baron of Gothas, Kirk? You should go to my dungeon for that. You and a few others of my choosing.
Okay, you spoiled little shit. Ugh. Well.
We have been unconscious for a considerable length of time, Captain. This is Lieutenant Commander Ellis, First Officer and Security Chief of the USS Zimbabwe.
Hello, Mr. Ellis. Where is your captain?
He was in sickbay at the time that triplane attacked us. I don't know what's going on.
What is going on, Commander, is a gentleman named Trelane, an immature child of a race with vast powers. Somehow he acquired an unhealthy fascination with human military history. Last time we encountered him, he had an interest in the Napoleonic era.
That doesn't sound at all familiar, does it? Like, that doesn't remind you of Q at all, does it? Like, Q had a very, very, very unhealthy opinion and fascination with, with just about everything. Basically with the worst of human history.
It would appear, Captain, that his awareness of human history has advanced to the level of your First World War.
If it advances any further.
Not only do we need to escape this place, but we need to find a way to discourage Trelane's interest in war once and for all.
How did you escape from him last time, Captain?
His parents appeared and punished him. I doubt that we can rely on such an intervention a second time.
All right.
These sticks were taken from a pine tree. Given their shape, I would speculate that they are used for kindling. Ordinary straw, Captain. The tricorder detects no unusual properties.
The door?
There is nothing unusual about the door. I am conducting a sensor sweep of the area. We appear to be about 15 meters underground. There's a single human life force stationary, approximately 6 meters from the door, and about 6 life forms in our immediate vicinity on the surface. It would appear to be...
Of course it's a crate. It looks like a crate, feels like a crate. What else could it be?
Bones, what is wrong with you?
Doctor, we are dealing with an entity who is capable of sustaining an artificial atmosphere on a planet and then flying that planet around the universe like a starship.
Spock's right, Bones. When we're dealing with Trelane, we need all the information that we can get. Something that looks trivial might be the key to defeating him and saving the Enterprise.
And the Zimbabwe. Okay, take us out of here.
All right, well, what's in the crate?
The crate is open. It is full of bottles of Himrich schnapps. The date on the bottle says 1913.
Okay.
There are several bottles of...
Right. Is there... What's the alcohol content of the schnapps?
It would appear to be...
No, the schnapps.
You have taken several bottles of schnapps.
This registers on my tricorder as schnapps, an alcoholic beverage.
We know what schnapps is, Spock.
My apologies, Doctor.
Yeah, but what's the alcohol content of it? I mean, I get... Obviously, we need to set a fire. We have kindling, we have straw, we have something to make it more... potentially more burnable. The problem is schnapps usually is around 30 to 40% alcohol, which really... You need to be... It needs to be, I think, 80... It's usually 40 proof, which is 20% alcohol. It usually needs to be 80 to 100 proof in order to burn. So... All right, let's pick up some sticks, and we'll do the old...
pick up a stick.
We'll do the friction thing in order to get a spark.
What's going on here? We should leave this building immediately. The proximity of this fire to a large concentration of alcohol puts us at considerable risk.
Do you think the Baron cares if you burn to death?
Who is this Baron? Trelane? Don't be a fool, man. If you keep us in here, you'll die too. It depends on whether he likes his prisoners rare, medium, or well done. Who is this don't be a fool, man? If
You have a point, Kirk. Go. I will be following.
All right, everybody
Our
out?
soldier friend seems to have gotten separated from us. I heard some windows breaking on the other side of the building. I assume that was him.
Probably.
The building is structurally sound, Captain. I doubt that it would collapse, but as a precaution, I would not enter it again.
Well, thankfully, there's nothing we need in there. There wasn't anything else other than stuff to start a fire with.
But where are we, Mr. Spock?
Isn't it obvious? In trouble.
I'm sorry, Lieutenant Commander, is your name Spock? If not, shut the fuck up.
Do you have a problem, Mr. Ellis?
Yes, sir, I have a problem. His name was...
The Baron does not appreciate vagrants.
Why that?
Kirk? Deck this motherfucker. Always punch a Nazi. Punching Nazis is perfectly acceptable. Although, I mean, technically, I don't know if they were... It technically
fun,
wasn't
Jim?
Nazi. This is World War I, but... Bones, just check on the old man, will you?
A human, approximately 60 years of age, in poor physical condition. His hip is broken, Jim. He needs our help.
Right. Can you fix a broken hip with an injection? I mean, does your magical little medicine bag have something that will fuse the bone back together? Apparently.
That should fix the hip problem. You should rest. Thank goodness Trelane didn't take the tranquilizers from my med kit. He'd probably be too tired to talk much.
What? How does a tranquilizer cure a broken hip?
Thank you for helping me. If only I had something to repay you.
You could tell us where we are.
You are the American pilot, Lieutenant Colonel Jimmy Kirk.
Jimmy?
The leader of the famous
Wait,
Enterprise Squadron.
Lieutenant Colonel? I mean, I suppose if that, I suppose in World War II terms.
Lieutenant Colonel.
Jimmy?
Enterprise Squadron?
I suppose I should tell you nothing, but as it looks as though the war will soon be over, I can tell you that this is the village of Gothos.
What war is this?
The Great War. The one that has lasted for 4 damned years and has killed millions. I never thought that it was possible for so many young people to die for such a worthless cause.
I believe he refers to the first of your world wars.
Spock.
Could you answer an important
Spoilers?
question for me, sir? What year is this? Where's Trelane? What else has happened? What year is this?
No, what else?
It is rumored that our forces are mutinying, and that our ambassadors have met with Mr. Wilson to discuss an armistice, but that Mr. Wilson will not negotiate with anyone except an elected government. Baron Trelane has retired to his castle and sees no one. His men are nothing more than bullies.
All right, Commander, you were about to tell us why you're being so hostile. Let's hear your story.
Does the name Lieutenant Ralph Garvin sound familiar to you? He was my roommate at the academy and was killed by some blood-sucking cloud while on a landing party under your command.
Space is not the safest of environments. I've always done my best to protect my crew, and I've always honored anyone who has lost their life under my command.
The Enterprise is routinely assigned to unknown and extremely dangerous sectors.
I have always made it a policy to lead landing parties and share the risk with my men. I suppose you've never lost someone under your command, Commander. You've never felt the loss of a subordinate while you've been on a landing party? When you become a captain of a starship, you'll have every right to judge me. We're in the middle of a life-and-death situation. I expect you to act like a Starfleet officer. I have always made it a policy to lead landing parties and share the risk with my men.
That is true.
Captain, if I see you do anything that puts us or our escape at risk, you'll regret it.
Is that a threat?
I'm not interested in vendettas. I'm interested in survival. If you have a problem with me, you can wait until everyone's safe. Is that clear, Commander?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's walk to the tavern. Taverns are usually good places to catch up on stuff.
You know the Baron's orders are that you are to be served in the armory. You are not to enter this establishment.
Everyone knows, Fraulein, that the Baron's orders were never meant to be taken seriously. Even by him.
Looks like trouble.
You think?
Excuse me, but if the lady wants you out, then you should get out. Would you like to step outside? Hello, soldier. Wouldn't you look good with beer on your face? Excuse me, but would you like to step outside?
Good gods! Jim, really? Just
they don't
take
make
it
soldiers
easy.
like they used to.
They kind of do. This is, set way back in the past, even for us, so come on. All right.
Well, Miss Gernsbeck, you seem to run a very efficient place.
Thank you, Colonel. Unfortunately, the war does not lend itself to efficiency. What do you wish to talk about?
Why are you calling me a colonel? What's going on with the war? You said that the war led to a lack of efficiency. What are you talking? What do you know about Trelane? Why do these soldiers bother you? Why are you calling me a colonel?
Yeah.
I know who you are. Lieutenant Colonel Jimmy Kirk, leader of the famed United States Enterprise Squadron that has shot down so many of our pilots, along with Major Spock and Captain Leo McCoy.
Captain McCoy? Leo?
Excuse me, Gretel, could you answer a question or two for me?
I will try, Colonel.
What's going on with the war?
It has not been going well of late, though we are told that Kaiser Wilhelm will never surrender. I doubt the war will last more than 2 months.
Okay, that's...
What is the date?
You have been held prisoner for a long time. It is October 16th, 1918.
All right.
I'm glad it's coming to an end. I've lost so many friends. I've never felt so alone.
You said that the war led to a lack of efficiency. What are you talking about?
The soldiers are little more than animals. They do as they please because a Baron protects them. I must deliver kegs of beer for them every night. It keeps them from having to leave the armory. I'm glad it's coming to an end.
What do you know about Trelane?
I know the Baron despises you and has vowed to kill you if you should ever meet again. Take my advice. Flee Garthos and never return.
Well, I can't do that without my ship.
And how does one flee Gothos?
I do not know. else I would have left long ago. The village of Garthos seems to ensnare anyone who comes here. You see, I really work for the French government. I'm a spy.
You just go telling that to everybody?
You get no response.
All right, cool.
Rudolph Uland, owner of the shop outside. What seems to be the problem? What do you think about the war, Herr Olland? What can you tell me about Trelane? What do you think about the war, Herr Olland?
Herr Schiller would have us believe that Germany is doomed. But I have more faith in our great soldiers than that. Victory shall be ours. Herr Kirk, what is it this time?
What can you tell me about Trelane?
The perfect German. If anyone can turn this war around, it's him.
You're such a sycophant, Rudolph. I saw how you handled that foolish brute outside. Quite impressive. I am Schiller, superintendent of the local schools. How may I help you?
What do you think of the war?
Horrible business. When it started, I thought it would be good for Germany, but it soon became a mess. I hope it will be over soon. If we can settle this thing without harsh negotiations, we can get back to being a civilized nation once again. Herr Kirk, though my position as school superintendent keeps me busy, I'm always glad to help you.
What can you tell me about Trelane?
A flamboyant man, and the greatest pilot in Germany. If only his soldiers weren't such rabble. Herr Kirk, though my
Where can I go to earn some money?
One might find a little money doing odd jobs around the village.
Okay.
Herr Kirk.
What's special about the school?
Well, Captain Hauptmann is addressing our class, trying to make the children into proper Germans. And we have a brand new chalkboard. Herr Kirk, though my...
Thank you, Herr Schiller. I don't think I require your generosity, but the offer is appreciated.
Okay, so we've gone through everything there, right?
Anytime, Colonel. I thought I had more beer than this.
Kegs of beer. They are marked for delivery to the armory.
So, yeah, the guy in the gray suit's just like, hey, look at that. Over there. Yoink. Okay.
My medical tricorder identifies the substance contained in the keg to be a fermented cereal produced by a malting process.
Yes, it's called beer.
In other words, beer.
How come Spock gets to ramble on forever with his explanations without interruptions, and I don't?
Say, you got any more of them tranquilizers? Just like, big old...
McCoy has drugged the beer.
Good.
This door leads to a back room.
All right, well, what's through the back room?
If I didn't know your good luck was only temporary, I'd be quite annoyed.
Mr. Full House is complaining. If his hands were any more indecent, he would be arrested.
With the Baron's soldiers, he might be arrested even if his hands were decent. I can't complete a straight to save my life.
Or your fortune. Welcome. I am Kurt Nielsen, owner of the Gossos Brewery. If you care to join, feel free, if you can pay the stake.
Hello, I am Richard Sondergaard. I publish the local newspaper. It's nice to see someone as famous as you, Lieutenant Colonel.
How is everybody just okay with me being this famous, this famous pilot and, walking around where I obviously should not be?
Doesn't it worry you, Herr Sondergaard, that you know an enemy ace is standing next to you?
Right? Thank you, Spock.
The Baron has given orders for everyone in Gothos to treat you well, Herr Kirk. A fellow pilot honoring fellow pilots, I suppose, although I would not trust the military to follow those orders to the letter.
And Werner Gillard, the shoemaker. If you are not prepared to play, please leave us.
Excuse our friend. He doesn't like to perform in front of an audience.
Okay. So, yeah, you seem to be much more...
Welcome, friends. Can I help you?
What can you tell me about the war?
My son is in the army. I fear for him constantly. I've tried to convince the commander at the armory to authorize his transfer. I would do nearly anything for that transfer. Welcome, friends.
What can you tell me about the war? What can you tell me about Trelane?
Herr Kirk, you know the Baron quite well, do you not? I doubt I could tell you anything you do not know.
You might be surprised.
Welcome, friend.
What can you tell me? What can you tell me about Trelane? Can you help me get into this poker game? What can you tell me? Can you help me get into this poker game?
I would lend you a stake to enter this game, but it appears that I will have to win a few hands to give you that money.
Right, so, in other words, no. Well, there was a shop across the street. Maybe we can get some money there. Fingers crossed.
Charming place. Less technology, more humanity. I like it.
I'm sure you do.
Somewhere in the middle of this European charm is Trelane and the missing ships. Let's find him.
The power contained within one of the clocks is off the scale, Captain. It matches with the sensor readings I took of Trelane's triplane on the Enterprise.
Theories, Mr. Spock.
Captain, the last time we encountered Trelane, he used various items, in particular, a machine hidden behind a mirror as a source for his power. This clock is another one of Trelane's power objects.
And if we could find and destroy enough of Trelane's power,
the village of Gothos would come apart, and we might find out what happened to the Enterprise.
Mr. Spock, continue scanning for power sources.
A common stove, although perhaps a bit antiquated for the period. There are no unusual readings from it, Captain.
So is it just the one clock or both of them?
Captain, I am unable to filter out the power readings that I am getting from the clock. I cannot effectively scan the surrounding objects.
Okay.
A curious substance, Captain. I have never understood the human need for sweet confections.
With Vulcan taste buds, it's no wonder.
Actually, Doctor, the need for sweets is more psychological than physical. This object is composed of metal and wood. There is nothing unusual about it.
Okay. What about the buckets?
The tricorder detects nothing. The tricorder detects...
The food?
Apples, Captain. I detect nothing unusual.
What's the green things?
Pickles, Captain.
Ah, pickles.
I detect nothing unusual about them.
Maybe bones? Is there anything unusual about the food?
The tricorder says they're delicious, Jim. The tricorder says there's nothing wrong with these pickles, Jim. If I was pregnant, I might even want one.
You don't have to be pregnant to want a pickle, Bones.
Huh? A joke that great-grandmother McCoy told me once.
It must have been funny once, I guess.
Well, the tricorder doesn't tell me much, but those jelly beans look good to me. We're supposed to use this on... We're supposed to use this...
All right, fine. Use it on the person.
A young human male in good physical condition.
All right, let's talk to him.
Hi, can I help you?
What do you want for that broom?
The broom?
That old thing. I can give it to you now. You can pay me later. I'm sure my boss, Mr. Ollamh, won't mind.
Okay.
Hi, can I
I see you're selling food packages.
You look hungry. Sure, have it. Pay me later.
Really? Okay.
Hi, can I help you?
Is that a coil of rope over on the wall?
That rope? No one ever buys rope. Go ahead and take it.
Really? Kid, you are just giving away the store.
Hi, can I...
What do you want for those shoes?
I'm sorry, but those shoes have already been paid for. Hi, can I help?
What do you want for those shoes? That really is a beautiful clock.
It sure is. I can let you have it. Pay me later. Or maybe not. Mr. Ollamh wouldn't like me to give away something that expensive on a promise. Hi, can I help?
What do you want for those shoes? That really is a beautiful clock. Can you tell me how to make money around here?
Sure, have some money. Oh, I don't have any. I wonder why.
Maybe because you don't actually get you don't actually charge anything for, like, this is very obviously, Trelane is very obviously a toddler. He has no concept of, like, money or anything like that.
Hi, can I help?
What do you want for those shoes? That really is. What do you want for those shoes? That really is a beautiful.
It sure is.
Okay. I think we've got everything there, so let's explore around. Shall we?
I would not get near that dog if I were you, Jim. It's suffering from rabies.
Okay. I have some food. Jim, no, don't just, like, hand it to him.
The dog is now hungrily eating its meal.
Great. Bones, what can you see?
Terran dog suffering from hydrophobia.
Can you cure it, Bones?
If I can cure Vulcans, I can cure dogs. I need to find some way of getting close to it.
Well, it is still busy eating. So why don't you use that as a distraction and just pump him full of your miracle drug, Bones?
Another satisfied patient.
Who just, like, walked right the fuck away. So, yeah, that's great.
This building is being used as a school for the children of Gothos.
Great.
This is an old apartment building.
Right.
This building is being used as an armory where troops are stationed and military supplies are kept.
Okay, that's great. Oh, looks like they got their, looks like they got their beer.
Human male unconscious. Human male unconscious.
The commander of this armory, Lieutenant Commander Ellis, says nothing, but waits. A soldier. A rack containing German...
All right, so...
The tricorder scan indicates that the safe contains trinitrotoluene, commonly referred to as TNT.
I suppose it might be an asset. Can you get it?
My tricorder indicates the lock is atypical for the period. I would require the exact combination. The tricorder detects photographs, medallions, and trophies. The tricorder does not detect anything unusual. A German World War I Army rifle, Captain. There are no unusual readings from it.
There don't have to be.
Indeed, Doctor. By this period, firearms were extremely efficient and deadly.
That looks like a statue or a...
This trophy is composed of tin and iron, Captain. An ordinary object. The tricorder detects nothing unusual.
Okay.
No unusual readings, Captain. This is an ordinary painting. No unusual
All right. Can I take a rifle?
You have taken one of their rifles.
I can. All right. Should probably save.
Game.
The man is unconscious, Captain.
Captain, why do we need to take these documents?
Captain, we need to persuade the commander to sign them.
Jim, I hope you're not expecting...
I don't think...
I do not see anything.
I don't think so.
What is this?
We have access to more efficient weapons, Captain.
Yeah, but you don't want them to be able to bar the door again, do you, asshole? Like, seriously.
What is it, Gringold? Ah, visitors.
Hi. You don't look so good.
Human male in good physical condition.
Okay, so he's just lazy.
Terran cat, feeling very self-satisfied.
As cats do. All right. Hi.
What can I do for you, Colonel?
How do you know who I am?
What can you tell me about the war?
We are a nation of warriors, Colonel. Like your America, we were born in war. We believe that military might gives men the right to take what they want.
What about diplomacy?
I wish we understood it better, Colonel. The pieces of paper that our diplomats sign have too little meaning. If we paid more attention, we could have prevented this latest mad conflict. I lost my grandson at the Marne. What can I do for you?
What can you tell me? I noticed that you have only one.
I lost my arm in the last war, January 8, 1871, during the siege of Paris during Bismarck's war with France, shortly before Germany's glorious victory. It still didn't bring my arm back.
Yeah, that's pretty normal, bud.
What can I do for you?
What can you tell me about... I noticed that... What can you tell me about Trelane?
Ah, yes, the glorious Baron. I'm a lowly soldier, retired and alone, except for Gringold. I don't think I can tell you anything about him. What can I do for you, Colonel?
Well, that's the thing. Is this planet is a fabrication by the near godlike entity of Trelane.
What can you tell me about the war? Where can I go to earn some money?
I might be able to give you some money, Colonel, if I could think of something useful that you could do for me.
Why can't you... Bones, can you do anything for him? Maybe clear his mind?
What did you do? My rheumatism is much better.
Nothing, Herr Eckhart. I'm just a simple country doctor.
Right, so about that money.
What can I do for you?
What can you tell me about? Where can I go to?
I might be able to give you some money, Colonel. If I could think of...
All right, well, I do have a broom.
The floor is quite dirty.
And
you know, this floor could be cleaner. Do you like living here, sir? This place looks very comfortable. You know, this floor could...
I must be getting lazy in my old age, Colonel. If you were to sweep my floor, I would pay you a little money.
Yeah, with Trelane's focus on like wars of the ancients and stuff like that, he very much reminds me of
You Americans are very helpful. It's a pity we're at war with you. But wars always end, and today's enemy often becomes tomorrow's friend. Unfortunately, the reverse is often true.
Right. Money? Money. Yeah, I'll just leave the broom here. Apparently we don't...
Here, it's not much, but money has its uses.
Thank you. Perhaps you might be able to use a broom around here.
Why, thank you, Colonel.
My pleasure. So now we have a little bit of money. I just remembered, we also picked up rope. So we had a broom. We don't have broom anymore. But we also have rope. So we should be able to... Yeah, we have the rope. Tying up the commanding officer here. And Bones, can you wake him up? Now that he's tied up, can you wake him
I have
up?
a bad feeling about this.
Wrong franchise, McCoy.
You'll never get me to talk.
I would prefer that you didn't.
That seems a bit rude.
You're nothing but a figment of Trelane's childish imagination. You're even less important than he is. Where's Trelane? Where's my crew? I would prefer that you didn't. Where's Trelane?
I will tell you nothing.
Really?
You presume to threaten me, Colonel?
I want you to sign transfer papers for Sundergaard's son. Send him away from the front.
How typical of the press. Not too willing to sacrifice for the good of the nation. Untie me, and I shall sign papers to take this little coward away from his duty.
I don't know about trusting you to be untied. I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't trust you. But then again, I do have a rifle pointed at you, so... It might not be such a... It might not be a horrible idea. Oh, good. You tied him right the frick back
I'll
up.
get it.
Great. Okay.
You have taken the signed transfer papers.
Oh, hey, Spock. If
I
he...
could mind meld with him to get
Yes!
the combination of the safe.
Yes, that's right.
Do it, Spock.
I forgot all about the mind meld thing. It's just like, yeah.
Trelane.
Spock, snap out of it.
He's not paying attention to me. Run away.
The combination, Spock. Concentrate on the combination.
Kirk. I must have revenge on Kirk. Every great man has his enemy. Nothing could be more fun than revenge. The sensation to end all sensations.
Spock.
I am back, Captain. I was able to mind meld with Trelane to an extent through his replications. These men are the crew of the Shinobi, the original freighter that Trelane captured. Their thoughts have been altered by Trelane.
Where is the Enterprise, Spock?
Or the Zimbabwe.
I received the impression that Trelane is holding them prisoner. I also got the combination for the safe. Rite 43, left 18, right 29, pull.
All right. Excellent. So open it up then. Dynamite.
I
Literally.
can feel the hernia. Actually, Doctor, there's a 91% chance that attempting to carry the safe would injure your back before it could give you a hernia. It would be more appropriate for Mr. Ellis or I to carry the safe. Of course, it would be even more appropriate not to take the safe without some logical reason.
I didn't want you to pick up the safe. I want you to pick up the dynamite. So apparently all the people here are actually like crewmen from various different ships and stuff like that, which is great. All right, let's go up to the school then.
And remember, democracy is weak. It relies on the votes of the foolish masses who are incapable of choosing strong leaders. Constitutional government fosters weakness. The rejection of republicanism is what won the last war for Germany, and it will bring us victory over these stupid Americans.
That's not what they told us at the Academy.
Aye. Right. They were saying something about a new chalkboard.
Captain, another abnormally high reading emanating from the chalkboard.
Uh-huh.
Boys and girls, let me introduce you to an example of inferior Republican stock. Lieutenant Colonel Jimmy Kirk. Tell us, Kirk, how can you defend the ludicrous American system?
I see no reason to defend anything, Captain. These children are, in spite of your efforts to indoctrinate them, quite capable of growing up to become adults who will make up their own minds. I am not interested in a debate, Hauptmann. If your system is so superior to America's, how come you're losing the war? Why don't we put it up to a vote? You have a choice between a system that gives you leaders who will oppress you for life, or a system which, imperfect though it may be, allows you to influence your leaders and gives you a chance to bring them to account. I see no reason to defend. Why don't we put it up to a vote?
We'll put it up to a vote.
All in favor of Hauptmann's system, say aye.
Aye.
All in favor of my system, say aye.
Aye.
It appears that they don't want what you offer them, Hauptmann.
I will not tolerate such insults. The Baron will make you all pay.
Yeah, go.
Jim, wasn't that a violation of the Prime Directive?
No, because this isn't an actual civilization, Bones.
Dr. McCoy, this is clearly an imaginary culture with no real existence. The Prime Directive cannot be reasonably extrapolated to affect such a culture.
Exactly. So...
Kirk, can I help you?
Yes, I'd like to ask a question. What do you think about the war?
It's horrible. With any luck, my students won't have to fight in such a war when they get older.
Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, no, they will. They most likely will. Yes.
Herr Kirk, can I help you?
Yes, what do you think about what can you tell me about Trelane?
Ah, the Baron. Ah, such a charming man. If all the military and Gothos were like him, it would be a better place to live.
Do you need some alone time?
Herr Kirk, can...
Yes, I'd like to ask a question. What do you think about... These children are something, aren't they?
They are a little rambunctious, aren't they? Herr Kirk?
Yes, what do you think about the war? I didn't realize they let mad dogs teach children. You know, I've heard that chalkboards can be very dangerous to children. What do you think about... I didn't realize they let mad dogs teach children.
He's a rather enthusiastic officer.
Okay, for a moment there, I'm like, dude, you're gonna talk to her about... You're gonna talk to her about like that? That's a bit rude.
Herr Kirk, can...
Yes, I'd like to ask you, what do you think about... You know, I've heard that chalkboards can be very dangerous to children. The chalk is very bad for the lungs. Maybe I should remove...
You want to remove my chalkboard? Nein, absolutely not. I wouldn't consider it unless you gave me a letter from the superintendent telling me to do this.
Right. Okay. I do know the
This appears to be a
superintendent.
picture of Kaiser Wilhelm II.
I do actually happen to know your superintendent. Let's see here. Yeah, right? I don't know. I don't know how far along the mental conditioning it goes.
I can't believe the trench would be so close to the town.
They normally aren't. Because that's the thing, it's like the soldiers were from the original ship that was captured, and little by little Trelane has captured more and more ships. And I think it takes them a little while to condition the captees. So like the older captives are now the soldiers, whereas like the more recent ones are the townsfolk, and people like Ellis here, who is from the latest ship, they aren't even allowed to be like just background NPCs.
It shouldn't be. At this point in the war, the Allies had broken through the trenches. That's why Germany surrendered. Their defenses were crumbling, and they didn't want to see their cities destroyed.
Only one of many illogical situations, Commander. The building where we were imprisoned almost burned to the ground, but no other building was touched, and no one seemed concerned about the fire.
What else?
The fact that everyone seems to recognize us, yet the military does not try to intercept us. The building signs in English instead of German.
Yeah,
There
that's
is
a
much
little
here
odd.
that is not what it seems.
That does sound a little awkward.
Captain, another abnormally high reading emanating from an object in his pocket. A locket of some sort.
Well, that sounded dangerous. Is he even alive?
Young human male, life signs failing. Suffering from internal bleeding and shock.
Right. Well, you have cured rheumatism and a broken hip and rabies, all with your medical kit. So, can you patch him up as well? Like, stop the internal
That's odd.
bleeding?
I should be able to see immediate improvement in his injuries. But I have no response.
Right. It's Trelane's world. He is an infant. He is a toddler. So, in his mind, an injection from a doctor cures you.
That is because Trelane is interfering. This man is meant to be a dying soldier, whose presence provides drama for Trelane's production.
He'll die.
Logic suggests that Trelane will not allow him to die, except for dramatic effect. Given the inconsistencies I've noticed, it is probable that he may be kept alive indefinitely.
Well, that's convenient.
Can you give him something for the pain, Doctor?
Nothing I've done has any effect on him, Commander.
All right, well, if he's not going to die...
to report in the West.
Hey, don't worry about that.
What can you tell me about the war?
I am a sentry. The others are dead. I think I'm dying.
Kind of. I just realized it's like really quiet here. There's like no music here, no sound effects, other than the occasional
The
boom.
West.
What can you tell me about the war? What can you tell me about Trelane?
I like to watch the airplanes fly overhead. The enemy watches them through, and I know we'll have a few minutes of peace. Nothing to report.
What can you tell me about your locket?
You want my locket? But that's the only reminder of my girl. I'd rather lose my arm.
We need it very badly. If we do something for you, would you give it to us?
I have a letter to my girl. If you see that it is delivered, I'll give you my locket.
Sure thing. Give me the letter and delivered. All right, what's in... Well, wait a second. Kirk, wait a second. Let's think about this for a moment here. So, I'm guessing... I mean, we've only seen a couple of women here, period. So, I don't think the old school marm is going to be the one that he wants us to give his... I don't think that's his girl. So we need to give the young woman the letter. So let's see here. No, which one is which here?
These transfer papers will...
Okay. So you must be the letter. So here you go.
Thank you, Captain. I will see that it is delivered.
Great.
Rudolph Ollamh.
Right.
Fritz Schiller, Superintendent.
Okay. Now the transfer paper needed to go to the guy, to the guy in green.
What is the Bluffmeister up to this time?
He doesn't bluff. He just complains about everything.
I do not. If I did, I would have hit the ceiling with my last hand.
You dealt. You deal with it.
There's no hand worse than the one you deal yourself.
Right. Hey, guess what?
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel. I cannot express my gratitude. If there is anything I can do for you, please let me know.
Right. Could you get me into the game?
Welcome, friends.
What can you tell me about the... I need you to spread a rumor about a chalkboard.
You say you need me to convince Herr Schiller to give you the kindergarten?
Yes, yes.
I would do anything for the man who got the commander to issue a transfer for my son.
It's a good question. I don't know. All right. So you should be doing that. Now we should be able to just say, hey, put our money down.
Welcome to the game, Colonel.
Thank you.
3 hours later.
3 fucking hours.
My God! Where did you learn to play poker, Colonel?
Starfleet Academy.
Not Starfleet. Poor Bones is just like...
to purchase the clock, Captain. I suggest we do so without delay.
Right, and... Dude's still, like, stealing the superintendent's spear.
Though my position as school superintendent...
You look worried. It wouldn't happen to be about the chalkboard by any chance.
I have heard the most horrifying rumors about these boards.
Yes.
Do you think they are true?
Absolutely. If you wish, I could dispose of the thing for you before anyone is harmed. I'd need a letter for Frau Humperdinck.
Absolutely. Let me just take pen to paper.
Yes.
Take it when you want to destroy...
I very much would like to destroy the file thing.
You pick up the piece of paper.
Kirk, what the fuck? You have bisected that man at the fucking waist, sir. That is not good. I am pretty sure that is against Starfleet regulations. All right, so we have the paper to get the chalkboard, which is one of the objects of power. We can buy the clock. All right. I have a shit ton of money.
That's just enough to buy this neat clock.
Great! I'll take it. Say, can I have some money? So, yeah, we've got one. We've got now to get we need to get the chalkboard. Be in the school. That'll be the second object of power.
Well, if the superintendent says you must take it, you must.
Hey, I hate to do it to you, but yoinkus. Okay. Yeah, they did kind of the LucasArts type thing, that kind of like, big chalkboard, broader than my shoulders. Yeek. I don't know what happened to it. It just disappeared. They finally got, yeah, there was a time in around the mid to late 90s where point and click adventure games were like, where does our main protagonist put all of this stuff? Like, we have them
to report in the West.
We have them.
What can you tell me
pick
about
up
the
everything?
About that locket?
You've delivered my letter?
Yes. Kind of.
I guess I'll keep my promise. Have my locket.
I don't mind if I do. Okay, so there's 3 of those.
Save new game. Replace.
I want to save the game here because I want to try going in. Can we not go into here? What is in here? Oh, apparently nothing. Yep, nothing. All right, so we've got 3 things of objects of power. I don't know what's out this way. I'm not sure what's out here.
There it is, the triplane that shot down the Enterprise.
It did not shoot down the Enterprise. We shot that piece of shit down. Thank you very much. Get it straight, Kirk.
Why don't you start it up and fly off in a blaze of glory? After all, you are James T. Kirk, the toast of Starfleet. The man who never loses.
Seriously, dude, what the fuck is your problem?
Mr. Ellis.
What's the matter, Kirk? The truth hurts? You never let that get in the way of your ego before.
I'm putting you on report for insubordination. We're all upset, Mr. Ellis, but these insults won't solve the thing. That's it. I've taken all I can stand from you. We're all upset, Mr. Ellis, but these insults won't solve the thing.
I don't believe in mincing my words, Captain. If you can't accept my honest opinion, too bad.
How did you ever become Lieutenant Commander? You were like 3rd in line for leadership of a ship. You were 3rd in line in the chain of command. What the fuck?
Fine, but do yourself a favor and stay out of my way.
Oh. Excuse me.
That's it. I've taken all I can stand. Fine, but do yourself a favor and stay out of my way.
Kirk, I'm going to be in your face so much that you're never going to forget what I look like.
Seriously, what the fuck, man?
Commander, I know a treatment that has a good success rate at reducing excess aggressiveness. It's called reason.
Another abnormally high reading emanating from the plane. It is in every way a Fokker DR-1, except for that power source.
I don't think so. It was firing phasers. I'm pretty sure that Fokker planes in World War I did not use phasers. That is just garish as hell, man.
Captain, the force field around the castle is extremely intense. I get the same energy signature from it as I did from the triplane that attacked the Enterprise.
Mr. Spock, is there any way to penetrate it?
The force field permeates the ground, Captain. The largest weapons of this era could not penetrate the force field. If we could generate a disruption on the wavelength, the field could be breached, although we would not have much time before it was re-established.
How could we generate such a disruption?
By physically destroying other objects that resonate on that wavelength.
Right. So all
objects like the power objects that we have already found.
We're supposed to use this on people.
Well, excuse the fuck out of me, Bones. Jeez, I was hoping you might be able to like pick up some kind of life forms or something, but no. All right, so we need to blow everything up. So we need to put the clock in the plane.
You put the chalkboard in the triplane.
Put the clock in the plane.
You put the clock in the triplane.
Put the locket in the plane.
You put the locket in the triplane.
Now set up the dynamite.
Affirmative, Captain.
Make sure you have a long fuse, okay?
Everyone stay well back.
I suppose I should be angry at you, Captain, with your act of vandalism against my beautiful aircraft. But then, barbarians will be barbarians.
I wouldn't say we're barbarians.
There's only one barbarian in the room, Trelane, and I'm looking at him right now. Release my ship, Trelane. And don't you ever grow up, Trelane? You may have powers of a god, but that doesn't even come close to making you a man. There's only one. Release my ship, Trelane.
My ship? My ship? It's always your ship, your crew. Don't
Yeah,
you
he's
have
very
anything
much
else to
Q-like.
think about? Conquests of your enemies and the fair sex.
Restore the ships you've stolen and return them unharmed.
You're in no position to make demands. I am the Baron of Gothas, the most renowned aristocrat in this part of Germany.
This farcical, wildly inaccurate fantasy of yours.
And you are my prisoner, a mere Lieutenant Colonel Jimmy Kirk. And I will do with you whatever I want.
Thanks. You know what? We should probably save again.
Save new game. Replace. This bottle contains a very realistic reduction of the SS Shinobi, a freighter. This bottle contains a very realistic reduction of the SS Manikier, a Denebian transport.
Right, that was
This bottle contains a very realistic reduction of the USS Zimbabwe.
My ship! Bring it back or I'll...
Oh, you
This
idiot.
one's even more savage than the last one of your officers who made the same mistake. My compliments, Captain, on having such a spirited crew. Truly a testament to your fine leadership.
Hey, he's not one of mine.
Release him, Trelane. He's done you no harm. Take me in his place. He's not a member of my crew and you know it. Besides, he looks rather peaceful standing there. Release him. He's done you no harm. Take me in his place.
Ah, the gallant captain, intervening on behalf of one who despises him. Don't worry about him, Captain. Worry about yourself.
I suppose I should thank you, Captain.
Yeah, you
Later,
damn
Commander.
well should.
This bottle contains a very realistic reduction of the USS Enterprise.
Jim, is that what I think it is?
A ship in a bottle?
It is the Enterprise, Doctor. It is functioning normally, aside from being trapped. The crew are alive and well.
So yeah, there is a fan theory that says that Trelane is a member of the Q Continuum. Just an earlier version of the Q Continuum before they're like, you know, they just went like, hey, we're just gonna call everybody Q just so that, you know, there's not individual, you know, to basically kind of strip away individuality.
My latest hobby, gentlemen, putting warships in bottles, celebrating the grand martial heritage of your species.
Right, can we communicate with them?
Captain, thank goodness you're all right. We've been stuck in a place on minimal life support, and every time we fix our communication systems, it goes offline again. Shall we try to beam you back?
No.
That might be problematic, Mr. Scott.
Be careful, Captain. We've scanned 2 life forms that are right off the power scale.
2?
2 life forms, Scotty. Scotty, come in.
How like an engineer your Mr. Scott is, always fixated on the unimportant.
Well, that's a good question, because I don't remember. I think it's in Voyager, maybe. Q actually does have an offspring. They actually do bring in a younger. They actually do create a new Q. It hasn't been done for a while. By that point, but they do bring in a new member of the Q Continuum. More importantly, I think it was there was a member of the Q Continuum who wanted to die, and that had been like, they're like, no, this isn't done. We don't die. But like an old member of the Q Continuum is like, look, I've seen everything, I've done everything. I want to experience death. Just let me die. And in theory, that's kind of what started the decline of the Q going into the Picard series. Right, so there's 2 of them?
Well, Captain, I suppose you're about to make your grand plan of escape?
You must think you're pretty clever, Trelane, with your replica of the First World War. Why should I have to make a grand plan to escape from a loser like you? I don't have to do anything. Eventually, your parents are going to find you and discipline you again. You must think you're pretty clever, Trelane, with your replica of the First World War.
Let's fluff his ego a little bit. Just kind of give his ego a little reach around.
Why, thank you, Captain.
I wasn't complimenting you, Trelane. I've never seen such a piece of nonsense in my life. Although you could have made that trench scene much more realistic. If World War I had been the way you depicted, human history would have been a lot less bloody.
I mean, technically, yeah.
I wasn't complimenting, although you could have made that trench scene much more realistic.
Really, Captain?
Look into the memory banks of the Enterprise, Trelane, recreate what's in there, and let me show you firsthand the glory of one of the bloodiest conflicts in human history. Not a liar, just misinformed. Use the memory banks of the Enterprise, Trelane. Recreate what's in there. War at its most realistic and terrifying.
That you just repeated it yourself. Very well, Captain. I'll take you at your word. I'll take you to what you think the war was really like. Yeah, this is a lot more like it.
Captain Kirk, I hope you had a good reason for dragging me out in the mud in the middle of the rain.
Look around you, Trelane. Is this glory? Is this valor? Smell the stench of death. While knights fought in the sky, millions died in the mud. Diseased, starving, mutilated. Is this the sort of game you want to play, Trelane? For once in your life, Trelane, shut up and look around you. Look around, Trelane. Take in the ambience, the romance of this place. Look at the proud soldiers celebrating the glories of war. Look around you, Trelane. Is this glory? Is this valor?
But these people lost, Kirk. Shame and suffering is supposed to befall the losers in war.
No.
These were the winners, Trelane. You're inhuman, Trelane. You play games with people and ignore their suffering, just like the people who sent these men to die. You should have been a politician. If you have any real courage, Trelane, if you want to experience real warfare, put yourself in their place. No powers, no titles. Experience the glory of war firsthand, like these men did. These were the... If you have any real courage, Trelane, if you want to experience real...
But aren't you inferiors supposed to die like that? Aren't you supposed to throw your lives away in futile wars? Or die as meaningless non-entities? Dying a useless death without glory?
No one is useless, Trelane, and no one wants to throw away their life in a futile war. We've changed, Trelane. We've grown up. It's time you did too.
You're no fun anymore, Kirk. No fun at all. You're preachy just like them. Anything I'm interested in is always wrong.
Release my ship. Trelane, look around you. Does this look right to you? Trelane, you don't go around hurting people and expect them to treat it as though they're having fun. The first thing a life form learns is to avoid pain. Release my... Trelane, look around you. Does this look right to you?
But I didn't cause this, Kirk. It was your own species' suicidal tendencies that did this.
Trelane, if I admit that I cheated on our last encounter, can I have my ship back? Trelane, you're not experiencing the pain that people felt. You're supposed to sympathize with them. I'll tell you what, Trelane. You can keep the Enterprise. All I want is your triplane. Trelane, I'll tell you what, Trelane.
You want my plane? You can't have that. It's mine.
Oh, come on.
But it's a lot nicer than the Enterprise. What would you rather have, a nice red triplane or a clunky-looking starship? Which one is better, Trelane?
Why, my triplane, of course.
Then why don't you make lots of triplanes and let those dusty, dirty old starships go free? Just think of all the fun you can have putting them in bottles.
Why, Captain, you've given me a hobby. I can hardly wait to start.
Yeah.
You better set those starships free, Trelane. You're going to need a lot of room on your mantelpiece for your new ships.
That is true, Captain.
Captain's log.
Wow, we don't get this view very
to normal
often.
size and are about to return to their assigned missions. It was horrible, Mr. Spock. Trelane recreated one of the greatest tragedies in human history. I've seen a lot, but even that...
The waste of lives is appalling, even when one operates by pure logic. When one considers what those millions of lives that were lost might have done for humanity had the war never taken place.
Well, now that we've taken care of business... Ow! I'll have to see Dr. McCoy about my shoulder.
Maybe you shouldn't have gotten in so many fights, Kirk.
Something happened, Captain.
Mr. Ellis and I.
Oh.
I see. Are your differences settled?
I'm afraid not, Mr. Spock. We each won a game of zero-G squash, but I'm afraid he was called back to the Zimbabwe before we could have a rubber match. I think I dislocated my shoulder with a rather wild swing in the second game.
Then logic suggests that your injury would have caused you to lose the match.
I suppose so. He's a good player and a good officer. I'm putting in a request to bring him on the Enterprise.
That should be fascinating.
Yeah, I'm not so sure that's a good idea, Kirk. I mean, he was very insubordinate.
Hello, Captain. I'm Captain Gernsbeck of the Shinobi. I thought I would thank you personally before we left for Cephas 5.
A pleasure to meet you, Captain.
Have we met before, Captain? There's something familiar.
Perhaps we did, on some other planet, in some other star system, sometime long ago.
Yeah.
Message from Starfleet Command.
On screen.
I have reviewed your report from your recent assignment, Captain, and have a few comments.
Okay.
I am very pleased with your performance. It was a perfect mission, Jim. Your reputation as Starfleet's best starship captain is secure. Kane out.
Great. So now we're moving on to light and darkness.
Captain's log. While exploring an uncharted star system in the Deneb sector, we received what we think is a message from a distress beacon on Onias 2. We're en route to investigate.
All right. So, Onias and Deneb. What? Okay. We can't, really?
I advise referring to the star map and setting a course for the Onias system, Captain.
Onias, okay.
Onias 2, a Class M planet in a system consisting of 3 unformed planets. Because of the high level of micrometeorite activity in the system, it is unusual for a Class M planet to exist. The planet is not inhabited and is not scheduled for colonization.
All right, that's good. So yeah. Was it Deneb? I think. But that one's just like nothing. Okay.
Class M planet. Designation for worlds that are potentially inhabitable by humans.
Okay. Cool. Well, we're gonna go ahead and raise shields, ready our weapons just in case. So we want to go to this big orange one, which is Onias 2. Probably should have saved first.
Approaching Onias 2, Captain. It may be nothing, Captain, but a scan of the planet's atmosphere indicates a high concentration of rare gases trapped in the planet's magnetosphere. Atmospheric disturbances could produce random radio waves.
Good.
It wouldn't be the first time, Mr. Spock, but we'll never be able to tell if we don't check it out. After all, to seek out new life and new civilizations is our mission, to boldly go where no man has gone before.
A split infinitive, Captain.
What?
The proper grammatical expression is to go boldly where no man has gone before.
Somehow, I think it loses a little in the translation.
Probably.
Entering standard orbit.
All right, let's go into orbit. Yeah, that doesn't look right. Oh, wait a second. I just remembered we need to switch the title there. There we go. All right, so,
Fascinating, Captain. Sensors indicate only 2 faint life forms. It is difficult to distinguish, given the discharges in the planet's magnetosphere. It is, however, safe to transport to the planet's surface.
Like, it didn't come up with anything. All right, so, yeah. So 2 faint life forms. Difficult to distinguish given the discharges from the okay.
No signal from the planet other than the distress beacon, sir.
All right. Well, he does say that it should be safe. So if we look at this, yeah, we've got 4 points, 4 points, 4 points. We've got 12 points total. All right.
Captain, the shields are up.
Oh, right.
Target analysis.
Nope.
Target analysis off.
Wrong
Lowering
button.
shields, Captain.
Captain, our sensors will not be particularly useful to you while you're down there, and communications may be erratic, sir.
We'll be fine, Lieutenant. What reason is there to worry?
You might not be able to get back?
I'm afraid, Captain, there are plenty of precedents. We'll be here if you need us.
I have no doubt of that.
I have tracked the signal to its source. It is near the life forms. The rest of the planet is quite desolate. No sign of life or technology. The atmosphere is thin, but breathable, and I detect numerous micrometeorite hits.
Great.
There are 3 unformed planets in this system. It's no wonder. There are so many micrometeorites. I'm surprised any Class M planet hasn't been pulverized by now.
It is not inconceivable, but it is certainly unusual.
Let's do it, Spock. You, McCoy, and I. Oh, and tell Bones to see if a genetic specialist's available. If there are only 2 life forms, we might be privileged to see life at its earliest stages.
Fair enough. Do we actually have a red shirt coming with us?
Seems to me as if we've landed on a skeleton after the vultures have picked it clean.
Well, that's not entirely inaccurate.
Fascinating analogy, Doctor. Captain, the locus of the distress signal is in that building.
I think the doctor is right. Anything good here died a long time ago. It feels creepy to me.
Wait, he's not a red shirt.
Thank you for that opinion, Mr. Johns. I'll be certain to use creepy in my log entry about this.
All right. First things first. What can you tell me about the building?
As improbable as it might seem, I am getting multiple life form readings from inside this building.
Interesting. Anything unusual about the rocks?
A form of granite, Captain, primarily composed of potash feldspar.
Uh-huh.
The vast majority of the water on this world is trapped within the rocks beneath the ground. It is unlikely that it could be harvested commercially because of the amount of energy it would take to free it. The world is quite normal, though the rocks are rather sparse in silicates. The planet is habitable, but...
Okay. Habitable, but there's no real point to it.
Jim, I'm detecting a slight strain on your pectoral muscles and your triceps. You didn't happen to do some rock climbing on your last shore leave after you fell, did you?
Well,
I told you to take it easy.
Define easy.
Damn it, Bones, you're my doctor, not my babysitter.
I tell you, Jim, if I could get my operating room as sterile as this planet, I'd be overjoyed.
Here's a question. What's over this way? I mean, obviously we can go into the building, but we have, like, rocks on one side. Well, hello.
An antenna. I wonder what it was meant for.
That's what we're here to find out, Mr. Johns.
That is unusual, isn't it?
The array appears to have deployed recently, which explains its lack of damage. The focal point of the dish is aligned approximately 35 degrees above the horizon.
Okay. What can you tell me about the console that it's connected to?
This appears to be similar to Federation technology, Captain. Its control principles are similar to the Medaille sensor dish on Vulcan. It has locked the array at a 35-degree angle. Without knowledge of the code control sequence, I cannot adjust it. I also detect that its power core is not functioning. It operates on geothermal energy, tapping into heat from the ground below.
Well, all right.
Captain, although this rock formation does indirectly lead to the thermal core, I suggest finding an area that would allow a more direct transfer of energy. Nothing unusual.
All right. So, like, what?
Captain, although this rock form...
How about this one?
These rocks are approximately 1.3 billion years old and are volcanic in origin.
Right.
These rocks are Captain, although this rock formation does indirectly lead to the thermal core, I suggest finding an area that would allow a more direct transfer of energy.
Okay. Well, we need to save real quick. So this does lead down.
The energy level is insufficient, Captain. We cannot generate the energy level needed to provide geothermal energy with hand phasers.
If it's thermal energy you want, Jim, I remember this planet that used a starship's phasers on a microwave setting to heat the surrounding rock to provide temporary power.
An interesting observation, Doctor. We could use the same technique here, but the beam would have to be extremely precise. If we targeted the wrong section, we could melt the rock and destroy the array.
Alright, so we need to find the exact spot, huh? Time to go for a pixel hunt?
Captain, although this rock form... Captain, although this rock formation does indirect... Captain, although...
Alright, but you want to give me an idea as far as a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right.
This appears to be the most accessible spot to heat the rocks below the ground and generate geothermal energy.
Great.
For the array.
Okay, so where there's a little hole there, that's where we want to do. Alright, so...
Kirk to Enterprise. Sulu, can you read me?
Sulu here, Captain. How can I help you?
The Enterprise should broadcast a low-level microwave beam at the coordinates I am sending.
We have them, Mr. Spock. Get ready. Stand away from the blast area.
Yeah, I'd rather not nuke my
Stand by,
nads.
ready for weapons position.
Sending microwaves now.
Could you wait until I tell you that we're ready?
Temperature near the power coupling is rising rapidly. I estimate a below-ground temperature of 345 degrees Kelvin is required to reactivate the array. It is at 320, 330, 335, 340, 345, 350.
Shut off the beam, Mr. Sulu.
Affirmative, Captain.
The array is now drawing power.
Cool.
Captain, the parameters of this sensor have been preset. I suggest we do not...
Okay, can you... What's it do?
The array is functioning stably.
Cool.
I estimate our discharge has given it adequate energy to function for 13 days, 7 hours...
I agree. Much better.
26.8 minutes.
They did a much better job. I kind of wonder if they didn't have like a model that they were using and just did it like an FMV. The way it moves kind of looks like that, but yeah. Okay. Can you guys tell me anything about
We're ready to assist in any way we can, Captain. Scout out.
Okay. I was hoping maybe you could tell us what the hell this was sending out.
The array appears to have deployed recently, which explains its lack of damage. The focal point of the dish is aligned to...
Okay.
The array is functioning stably. I estimate our discharge has given it adequate energy to function for 13 days, 7 hours, and 26.8 minutes.
Okay. So, is this back to where we were, or is this like... No, this is another one. How many of these things are there?
The array appears to have deployed recently, which explains its lack of damage. The support beneath the base is weak and crumbled. It is aligned to a point approximately 35 degrees above the horizon.
Approximately? That's kind of...
Captain, the controls indicate the device is aligned at an angle approximately 35 degrees above the horizon. There appears to be some sort of anomaly in the control program that has misaligned the controls, but my tricorder is unable to determine it. Without a method of determining the proper angle, I am afraid I cannot realign the dish.
Right, but you did have that with the other one, didn't you? Didn't you?
Scotty, I need a calculation from the main computer.
Okay, yeah, we can...
While I know the computers on the Enterprise aren't quite as good as her engines, I think she'll manage.
I am sending the problem.
Ugh, that was too easy, Mr. Spock. The angle is 32.5 degrees.
Thank you, Mr. Scott.
So is there anything else you need, Captain?
Not now, Scotty. Kirk out.
There's a lot of wind here. Okay, so... Spock, input that.
I will need to adjust the controls before the sensor array.
Okay, fine. You do that.
I am now attempting to realign the device to 32.5 degrees. It should now be correctly aligned.
Great. Okay. Let's make sure.
I do not need to use...
Let's verify it.
Captain, the array is now properly aligned to 32.5 degrees.
Right, okay. Let's keep going left then. Why not? Like, I don't know what these are for. I'm guessing closer to 30 degrees?
The array appears to have deployed recently, which explains its...
Right.
This appears to be similar to Federation technology, Captain. Its control principles are similar to the Medaille sensor dish on Vulcan. It has locked the array at a 35-degree angle. Without knowledge of the code control sequence, I cannot adjust it.
All right. So we can't adjust this one because we don't have the control for it. But this one, we were able to change the angle, which is a little odd. This one just needed powering up. So, all right, let's go in and see what's shaking. Okay. That's...
Well, I have to hand it to whoever built this place. All this equipment looks brand new and in good repair.
Let's hope the Enterprise looks this good when it's this old.
We should be very careful about how we proceed, Captain. I have a strange feeling that evil is lurking nearby.
Evil?
Evil, Ensign?
Something that wants to imperil our souls, sir. We must avoid that at all costs.
Okay, that's... yeah. Evil?
I
Really?
haven't seen equipment like this since I interned on Talara. Such equipment. In such a place.
You know, a person could do serious research with a device like this. What an odd piece of equipment to find in a place like this.
Yeah. This doesn't remind you of anything, guys?
A DNA synthesizer and replicator. This is one of the most advanced genetics facilities I have ever seen. How unusual.
Okay.
How so, Spock?
Even visitors to this planet would leave behind a substantial number of artifacts. Sending only a genetics lab does not fit established archaeological patterns.
All right, well, let's scan everything.
This DNA sequencer appears to be nearly 50,000 years old, yet it has not broken down and appears to be fully powered. Aside from some dust and dirt and a small chemical deposit on the intake nozzle, this DNA replicator appears to be in the same condition that it was 50,000 years ago.
That's unusual, isn't it?
This DNA sequencer appears to be nearly 50,000 years old, yet it has not broken down and appears to be fully powered.
Okay, can you give me any more information about this? Like,
aside from some dust and dirt and a small chemical deposit on the intake nozzle, this DNA replicator appears to be in the same condition that it was 50,000 years ago.
Okay, what is the green stuff?
I'm just a simple country doctor, not... I'm just a simple...
Fine. Spock, can you tell us what this green gunk is?
Readings indicate that along with oxidation and dust, there is some organic residue in the crust-like buildup.
Okay. You know what? Let's save.
Save new game. Replace save new game.
I would like to try clearing that gunk away because it doesn't look like something that is supposed to be there.
A unique use of a phaser, but adequate for removing the deposits from the apparatus.
Don't look at the camera like that, Spock. Unnerving. Oh, hi.
Greetings, gentle beings, and welcome. I am Azra of the Omegan people. You are the salvation we have long sought. Thank you for answering our summons.
Okay.
An angel.
Actually, it is the projected image of an angel, Mr. Johns.
A 3D projection, you say?
Jim, somewhere in that machine behind the porthole are single-cell organisms. They have a healthy metabolism and long lifespan, but an extremely low rate of reproduction.
This casing is constructed from a uranium alloy and contains computer equipment, an image projector controlled from the keyboard, a communications relay, a genetic bank behind that porthole, and a slot with which to take samples from the genetic bank. The computer is quite sophisticated, Captain, with encoded engrams similar to Dr. Daystrom's M5 computer program, which would indicate artificial intelligence.
Uh-huh. And this slot is?
The computer is functional, but I detect no connection between the keyboard and the machine itself. Apparently, it was designed this way.
All right, let's talk to... But actually, you know what? Buck, tell me some more about this thing.
This projection is being cycled at 1,000 frames a second, which suggests the equipment was designed to function in the presence of a race that has a sharper visual acuity than the human or Vulcan races.
Right. Okay, so again, another 3D, like a 3D hologram?
So where's the emergency? Greetings, I am James T. Kirk of the USS Enterprise. What can we do for you? All right, I know you're just a projection. Let's speak with your real masters. So where's the... Greetings, I am James T. Kirk of the USS Enterprise. What can we do for you?
I am Azra of the Omegan people, an ancient and venerable race which labors to prevent the domination of this world by the forces of darkness. We require you to expunge this place of our mortal enemies.
Right.
Captain, the most worthwhile purpose in life is to fight against the forces of darkness. We must help him.
That is a very religious outlook.
Enemies? This world is so barren that all the life on it is located right here. If you have mortal enemies, we've not seen them. Who are you talking about? Our prime directive prohibits us from taking part in wars on one side or the other. It would be seen as intervention. We are willing to negotiate a compromise. You will forgive me if I don't fall for a pretty face. I'm not about to expunge anyone. And I will take no action until I've heard both sides of the story. Enemies?
Yeah,
This world
Who
is
are
so
you talking
barren
about?
that all the life on it is located right here. If you have mortal enemies, we've not seen them. Who are you talking about?
I speak of the Alphans, of course.
The
They are
Alphans.
foul, cold creatures who pervert even the most sacred ideas. They cling to the heretical belief that life began within darkness. Of course, we recognize light as the life bringer. All things began in a brilliant, life-giving burst of light.
A burst of light? That's a common motif in creation stories.
Or in accordance with the Big Bang theory of the universe's creation.
Yeah, but it started off in darkness.
You must expunge the world of the Alphans. This is why I called you here. I know you can accomplish what you need to do with the equipment that is present. Be warned, Visner can be very persuasive. I await your report of success.
All right. Well, let's go take a look at the other side then, and let me guess. These are going to be the Alphans, was it? So we literally have Alpha and Omega.
I welcome you, otherworlders. I beseech you, save us from that which seeks our destruction.
How fitting for a devil to appear on a world that looks like hell.
Enough of that, Mr. Johns. This is just another xenobiological entity.
Correction, Doctor. This is a projection of a xenobiological entity.
Jim, the only life form readings are within that machine behind the porthole. Single-cell organisms with an extremely high reproductive rate, but a very poor metabolism and an extremely short lifespan.
Yes, that's kind of how life works. A shorter lifespan, they need to reproduce more often. A longer lifespan, they need to reproduce less frequently, otherwise they overpopulate their living environment.
Nothing unusual about that object, Captain. Nothing unusual about that object.
Can you not...
The computer is functional, but I detect no connection between the keyboard and the machine itself.
Because they want us to talk.
Apparently, it was designed this way.
They want us to have to talk to these things.
This projection is being cycled at 1,000 frames a second, which suggests the equipment was designed to function in the presence of a race that has a sharper visual acuity than the human or Vulcan. Energy levels behind this glass are more than sufficient for having powered the distress signal we received.
Right. Okay.
Greetings. I am James T. Kirk of the USS Enterprise. What can we do for you? So, when do the wicked witches and goblins show up? Your emergency beacon and statement lead me to believe you see more of an emergency than exists here. Greetings. I am James T. Kirk of the USS Enterprise. What can we do for you?
I am Visner of the Alphan people. Our race possessed this world and thrived here until the invasion by the forces of light. We are locked in a death struggle with them, for they desire our destruction. Do you aid them?
No, we do not aid them. Wars and destruction are not things we value, Visner. Our prime directive prevents us from interfering in internal struggles. But at the request of all parties, we might negotiate a compromise. Forgive me, but I find that claim insupportable. This world, while grim hardly looks like a battleground. Who is trying to destroy it? Wars and destruction are not things we value, isn't it?
We're not...
Our prime directive prevents...
You open yourself to confusion in speaking with Azra, but it is understandable that you want to hear his side before acting. My assessment of you suggests that most of you will fight the clouding of logic and will see through Azra's deception. Please report to me your success.
Why wait? We've already talked to Azra.
It surprises me that you managed to survive listening to his warped theology. Yours must be a patient life form.
Frankly, Visner, Azra is certainly committed to his cause, but hardly the blood-mad fanatic you describe him to be.
I mean, he does want you to just, like, wipe the entire species out.
Warped theology. It is true they differ greatly from you, but your worldviews are based on common beliefs. You see things from different perspectives, that's all. Frankly, warped theology.
Yeah, I mean, you're
utterly ungrounded in logic. They are creatures
Hey there,
of
gamers.
superstition. They invaded our world, then sought to drive us from it. How can you suggest we are anything alike?
You question my grounding in logic, but you don't apply logic to an examination of Alphan beliefs. Aren't they concerned with the same things you are? You're supposed to be the reasonable one. Your facts can't be very persuasive if you aren't willing to try and find common ground.
Well, that's understandable, gamers.
You said they usurped your place in the world, which suggests prior ownership by you. What evidence do you have to support that concept?
Yeah, let's...
We know we came first because they invaded us. An invasion suggests they came to take away that which we possessed. Clearly you can see that.
How do you know they didn't exist on this world before you encountered them?
Do you further suppose they came first and we invaded them?
I see there are only single-celled organisms here, each with a defect. Perhaps at one time, the Alpha and Omega life forms were united. A strong, viable species that became divided. Only by reuniting can you hope to survive. And only through mutual cooperation and our help can you reunite.
I mean, even the way they're named, as far as, like, these are the Alphans, the others are the Omegans, these are the start, the other people are the finish, kind of hints at that yeah, the Alphans are correct.
Captain, this thing is evil. We can't unite them.
Enough, Ensign.
Your position is unassailable and points out the one and only purpose for our races. Thank you, Captain Kirk, for making me see that. Yes, I desire your help for my people. Help us.
All right. Now that that's done, Spock, can you do anything with this computer?
I am reactivating Visner, Captain.
Oh, I actually was wanting to... Okay. What? This is the...
This colony of creatures appears viable for the short term.
All right, great. So yeah, we'll pick this up. So the...
You take the alpha sample, which feels cold to the touch.
The idea of, you know, generally life is best when it reaches that middle ground of medium metabolism, medium reproduction rate, and medium lifespan. That is the ideal point that you want to get to. All right. Spock, wake his ass back up.
I will now reactivate Azra, Captain.
Thank you.
Was it not as I said it would be? Are not the Alphans unfeeling, uncaring beings, unworthy of life?
No, it's not like that at all.
Did they tell you their lies?
Foul lies? Their position contradicts yours, but there are similarities. You dwell on your differences so much, you just can't see them. Frankly, Azra Visner is quite rational and makes your impassioned pleas for genocide sound psychotic. For a being of goodness, you're rather bloodthirsty. Maybe you should try practicing what you preach. Vile lies? Their position contradicts yours, but there are similarities. You dwell on your differences so much, you just can't see them.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Captain, they're as different as angels and demons.
Shut up, Ensign. You are not in charge here.
Similarities? They are beings of shadow. They mock our perfection. They are our antithesis, created after we were to destroy us.
No, they weren't.
For good.
You repeatedly proclaim yourself good and suggest you are morally superior to the Alphans. Why don't you act like it?
That's a bit harsh.
If you're so perfect, how come you need our help?
That's reasonable, but still kind of harsh.
You said they were created after you were. How do you know that? You said
no, I
they were
want to know,
created
how do
after
you know
were.
this?
How do you know that?
We know we came first because that is what our sacred scriptures tell us.
Oh.
In the light we were born and commanded to shun that which dwells in darkness. This clearly tells us that we came first. Surely you can see that. Or is it that you have some other interpretation of the event that birthed the Omegans?
I agree. He really does need to, like, smack that ensign around and just be like, shut the fuck up. This is not how we deal with shit.
Does your sacred scriptures explicitly say that no beings were created before you?
Dare you suggest they came first?
Let's see what we've got. 2 single-celled organisms, each incapable of survival on their own. One lives in light, the other lives in darkness. Each must live a limited and unstable life without the other.
Captain, do you know what you're doing?
Allow us to unite you again. Your combined strengths will make you a viable entity again.
The persuasiveness of your arguments has opened for me a door through which I spy a future and a truth that I have long denied. You are correct. Perhaps being only half of a whole, I could not see the solution. Yes, I desire your help for my people.
Okay.
Help us.
Now, provided this ensign will, shut the fuck up for 5 minutes.
The glowing light coming from the sample dish tells you that the colony is thriving.
Right, and it should be viable for a good long while.
This casing is constructed from a
No, not the
uranium
goddamn
alloy
computer,
that contains-
Spock, the Petri dish. Thank you.
This colony of creatures appears viable for the short term.
It'd be viable for the long term. They have an extremely long lifespan.
The sample dish feels warm to the touch.
All right. So, right.
Do you really expect me to analyze this, Jim?
Yes, please. I can see that, yeah. That would make sense.
Do you really expect...
Yes, I want you to fucking look at this.
Nothing unusual about that object, Captain.
Okay, fine. Nobody wants to actually, like... Alright, so we have 2 tanks here, but I'm not sure those are what we need to do.
I'm just a simple...
Can you
This
tell me?
DNA sequencer appears...
Right, but which ones? Okay. I'm going to save real
game.
quick.
Replace.
So if we take...
No, I don't think that's...
Okay. So, all right. There we go. Okay, so you go in there.
This sample sequence is like a dream.
No, I don't think that's... No, I don't think that's...
Okay, so they both go into here?
I don't know why, but I could not get a good sampling.
That's... Huh.
No effect. No effect. No effect. No effect.
What
no
about...
effect.
There are life form readings just... This colony of creatures appears viable for the short term.
Okay, so it is viable.
Boy, these Alphans are healthy little beggars. They're multiplying at a phenomenal rate.
Captain, Ensign Johns. Captain, Ensign...
Well, if these readings are correct, Spock, you'll either drop dead in the next 5 minutes or you'll give birth to triplets.
You can spare the attempt, Eddie.
Ensign, let Dr. McCoy try that troublesome sequence.
Yeah.
I can do the job, sir, if I can have some peace and quiet here.
No, I don't trust you.
Mr. Johns, I think I'm getting a clear picture here of your difficulties. Do you realize that insubordination is an offense punishable by a court-martial? It looks to me that you're deliberately trying to mislead us. That's not a good career move. Calm down, Ensign. No one is criticizing you. I just need answers.
I appreciate the offer, Captain, but I know what's right and wrong here, so I don't need your help.
Ensign, I appreciate your situation, but this is not the time for philosophy. You have a job to do. Ensign, you are here as a genetic engineer, not as a philosopher. I expect my orders to be obeyed, and if you have a problem with them, I don't expect to be deliberately misled. I could really use a Tellarite security officer right now. Ensign, I appreciate your situation, but this is not the time for philosophy.
You don't understand, Captain. Look at the Alphans and look at the Omegans.
Okay. Oh, you're just gonna stop there? What right do we have to dilute the glory of the beautiful Omegans by mixing their DNA with those Alphans?
There's so much evil in the universe. You're asking me to destroy a race of good and beauty by mixing their genetics with something ugly, something evil. I can't do it.
Ensign, these Alphans and Omegans are single-celled creatures. Those projections are only constructs. Examine them yourself. Could their DNA produce creatures like Azra and Visner? I am asking you to do nothing of the kind, Ensign. You believe in the struggle of good against evil, and I respect that. But the application of your philosophical perspective is misplaced here. The Alphans and Omegans are single-celled creatures. They are no more capable of good or evil than a tribble. Can't you see that? Ensign, I think you're confusing things. The Alphans and Omegans are single-celled creatures. While the projections may have seemed sophisticated and human, they are constructs. You can look at the sequence and tell what you have there for DNA could never produce such a creature, can't you?
Single cells. You're right. I've been a real idiot.
Yeah?
I suppose I should take a refresher course in Aesop.
It wouldn't hurt. Some of the wisest people in history have written for children.
Never judge an input card by its label. I guess that was the trap I fell into and kept me from doing my job and made me deceive my captain.
If it's any consolation, you're not very good at deception, Ensign.
I don't think that would be much of a...
Thank you, sir. I hope you'll give me a chance to correct my mistakes. Do you think we're really meant to combine the two races?
You've programmed the sequences. You can tell whether they're compatible.
Right?
Sir, the sequencer indicates that they need to be combined for their continual survival. But how did you know?
I listened to Dr. McCoy. It seemed the logical conclusion, given the evidence.
Yeah?
Thank you, Captain.
All right, so put the little buggers back in.
The alpha sample is sequenced, sir.
No, I don't think that...
All right, so there's the alpha, there's the omega.
This sample sequence is like a dream. The two samples have joined together as easily as if they had once been a whole and had been separated before.
Yeah.
Any race that had this technology 50,000 years ago could possibly have been able to perform such a dissection and kept both halves alive.
Captain, with the samples sequenced together, I'm ready to use the replicator to produce a sample with the combined genetic data.
Cool.
This seems pointless.
So get to it, man.
I am producing a new culture, Captain. Captain, the genetic sequence is still stored in the computer. If we need another sample, the replicator can generate it.
That's fantastic. Now, if Bones would be so kind as to get the fuck out the way...
No effect. No effect. No effect. No effect. No effect.
Oh, are you goddamn kidding me?
No effect.
There we go. Fucking pixel hunting. God, I love pixel hunting. Get the fuck out the way, Bones.
Officially christen this life form, the Gammons.
Can you do that?
These combined creatures have a triangular structure. These Gammons have the energy efficiency of the Omegans and the reproductive rate of the Alphans.
Great. Spock, what can you tell us about them?
This colony of creatures appears viable for the long term. Quite vital and thriving.
Great, but, you know, we don't want them to be, like, long-lived and reproduce quickly. That's threatening overpopulation. That's not a good thing. I mean, we just dealt with the Mass Effect series where you had to deal with the Krogan that were very hardy, lived over 1,000 years, and could, you know, pop off babies like mad without the genophage. All right, so let's go up here then.
The computer is functional, but I detect no connection between the keyboard and the machine itself.
Right.
Nothing unusual. There is power going into these circuits, Captain, making it capable of functioning.
Okay, but functioning how?
Nothing unusual.
All right, so maybe we just need to slip you guys in here, right? Like, say...
Well, Jim, it doesn't look like it does anything. Oh, I guess I spoke too soon.
Yeah, you did.
It took it in. It looks as if the colony is getting a foothold in there.
Good.
Life energy levels are spiking. They're building to a level sufficient for sending out a signal 100 times stronger than the one that brought us here, Captain.
The gammon sample appears to be thriving in this environment.
Well, it should. It was built for them.
Thank you for your hard work. You have fulfilled the design for which we were created. I am authorized to tell you the true nature of this planet and those who brought you here. All you need do is ask.
All right.
This projection is being cycled at 1,000 frames a second, which suggests the equipment was designed to function in the
Right.
Beautiful and quite lifelike, the three-dimensional projection appears to be a blend of Alphen and
Right. Bones, can you get anything from it?
Whatever he is, he's not alive. I get no readings
duh.
at all from him.
All right.
Thank you, Captain, for your aid in constituting my people and in the unexpected necessary realignment of our communications array. You have performed admirably. Of the 16 stations reporting at this point, there have been 50% fatalities, 30% other failures, and only 20% successes. One group got points for style.
Really? One group got points for style. Was that us? Because I'm sure this is another test, isn't it?
Points for style? Is this some sort of game? Not another alien race with a superiority complex. Who are you this time? Your appreciation is welcome, but many questions remain unanswered. Who are you?
I am Sisissa, a projection of a synthesis of Ozra and Visner. Clearly you know that the primitive life forms you have been dealing with are incapable of creating that in which you now stand.
Duh.
You will also note that the more demonic of the creatures displayed a passivity you did not expect, while the morally pure creature was aggressive and bloodthirsty.
Yeah?
The contradictions were noted and duly dealt with. I take it you were testing us on our ability to deal with disparate and contradictory inputs.
Yes, your reasoning ability was being tested, as well as your ability to adapt to new ideas when they conflict with deeply held beliefs and cultural customs. You passed quite admirably. The Brassica are impressed.
The Brassica?
I'm not clear on who the Brassica are.
Captain, from this site, I can deduce various things about the Brassica. They are taller and more slender than we are. They are possessed of 3 fingers and a thumb on each hand. I suppose bilateral symmetry, and I know they possess greater visual acuity than humans. They visited this place well before humans had left the Cro-Magnon stage of development. And I note they have avoided detection by us, and presumably every other race in the universe, before they decided to send out signals to bring us to their bases.
Right.
Thank you, Mr. Spock.
And more you shall know as you continue on the quest. I wish you luck.
Okay.
Kirk to Enterprise. Scotty, 4 to beam up.
Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end.
In this case, Bones, a new beginning. We were the midwives for the rebirth of a life form. 2 halves that have been made whole again. That's the way it was meant to be.
And let us hope that this is the end of Ensign John's prejudices.
We can all learn to stop judging people by appearances. Ensign Johns might have done well to remember the biblical representation of Lucifer, appearing in the guise of an angel of light.
That's because he was an angel of light. He was the angel one of the angels that fell. He was an angel. He was not a demon.
You can never trust anybody, and people who look like pointy-eared hobgoblins are definitely at the bottom of the list.
It appears that Dr. McCoy did not learn the lesson of this mission either. Unfortunate, but not unexpected.
Fortunately, the Alphans and the Omegans learned philosophy and personal belief are not as easily divorced from logic as some would believe. We humans attain our greatest fulfillment when both of them are united.
Really, Captain?
Really? But I've had enough philosophy for one day. I'd rather worry about these Brassica and their cosmic quest.
Yeah, I would agree.
Well, with me aboard, we're sure to get points for style.
Many questions remain unanswered, Captain.
And there's only one way to answer them.
Captain, message from Starfleet.
Bring it up, Lieutenant.
I've reviewed your report from your recent assignment. I am very pleased with your performance. It was a perfect mission, Jim. Your reputation as Starfleet's best starship captain is secure. Kane out.
Well, it's not that difficult. It was just a matter of picking the middle ground and, you know, picking the less aggressive, less accusatory, more, hey, can't we all just get along type things.
Ahead, Mr. Sulu. Warp factor 5.
Ahead would like take us through the outer edges of the planet. Maybe like get out of orbit first and then go.
Leaving orbit, increasing to warp factor 5.
You really don't have a course set, Kirk. You're just like, just get out of orbit and go fast. Go pretty fast. That's like getting in a car and saying, okay, you know, while in the driveway, getting in the car and saying, okay, now hit the gas till you get to about 30, 40 miles an hour and just keep going.
Spock, where do you think we should start looking for this? Brassica?
Logic suggests that they will present us with opportunities to come to them.
Captain, a message from Starfleet.
On screen.
Captain, the USS Regulus has been forced to cancel its survey mission to the Antares Rift. We've decided to redirect the Enterprise to that mission. The USS Hood will take over for your current assignment.
Of course, the Antares Rift has a rather dangerous reputation.
Nothing the Enterprise can't handle. But be careful. Starfleet out.
Okay, so that's just like... Yeah, we don't even get a title card for this one, apparently. So, yeah, that appears to be where everything yeah, so... Wow, that is just, like I said, that's very bizarre. It's like no actual, like, hey, you know, this is, you know, here's the flyby of the ship, here's the title card. Nope, we're just going straight on in. So yeah, I guess that is that's where we're gonna end for today, because tomorrow we'll do chapters 5 and 6, and then probably Saturday night we'll do 7 and 8 and finish this one up. Seeing Friday is gonna be Pirates of the Geek Vortex. Looking to play some other games. We might try out Guilty as Sock, depending on how many people we have, how many people have the game and stuff like that, but we'll figure that out later. Anyway, as always, thank you guys very much for watching. If you liked the video, don't forget to hit the like button. If you're new here, don't forget to press that subscribe button. If you want to be kept up to date of when we go live and stuff like that, make sure to ring the bell, but also check out the social media links down below. That's our Facebook page, our Twitter account, our Tumblr account, our Blue Sky account, and the permanent invite for our Discord server, where I try to make sure to notify you guys of when we go live and stuff like that. For example, like I said, tomorrow at 8 p.m. Central Time will be Star Trek Judgment Rites, and then Friday it's going to be at 9:15 p.m. Central Time will be Pirates of the Geek Vortex. All that so that you can stay tuned for more from Ollamh Productions. Oh.